All right, this is the next part. Now we're going to set up our file we're going to take the selection we made and we're going to get an image and we're going to load the image into that area. So it looks like the beginning of an image peeking through your window. So right now over at the layer panel, we just have one file. It's got a padlock on it. It's locked. It's called background. That's our main image. What I want to do is I'm going to take another image that I already opened of a picture I took. Now, some of you might be taking an image off the internet, so I thought I better show you how to do that as well. So I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to go back to this image by clicking on it, and I'm going to go over to Chrome, and I'm going to get on Google, and I'm going to search, I already searched for a space battle. After I searched for space battle, I clicked on images so I could see different images of space battles. And I'm going to click on this Star Wars one right here. And what I'm looking for is these numbers down here, 1500 by 639. That is a good size number. If you get a number of pixels that's like 300 by 300 or something like that, it's going to be too small and too blurry for you to use. So what I'd like you to do is once you get an image that's over 1,000 in one of the dimensions, is right click on the image. What I did was I clicked on it. Where would it go? Here. I click once, pops open a preview. I'm going to right click on the image. And I'm going to go down to Save Image As. You could also go to Copy, but I want to show you this first. Save Image As. Left click. And then I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Space Battle. And I'm going to save it into my camera roll. Now I can go into Photoshop, go to File, Open, and there's my camera roll. Click on that, and I'll click on my space battle, hit Open. Now I have this big crazy image, and I have it as one of my tags. It's called spacebattle.jpg. I have my giant picture and my bjared window project.psc. So I'm gonna go to here, and the next cool thing I want to do is go to Select All, and you'll see these little, they call them marching ants. It's a moving line around your selection. And I'm going to go over to Edit, Copy. There's always keyboard shortcuts too. But after all those other keyboard shortcuts, I'm taking a little break from keyboard shortcuts because you just learned a whole bunch. Copy. And now I can go back to here. And I'm going to go up to Edit, Paste. So you can see how small this is. Even that huge image that I saved is still, compared to the photo, it's very small. Now what we need to do is situate it so that it's lined up about with the windows. Don't worry that it's covering up things. Because what happened is, these are all pixels. I'll use my zoom in shortcut, Control Spacebar, and I can zoom in on the space battle. And I'll use my spacebar and mouse trick to move it around. You zoom all the way and you'll see the pixels. But it looks like it's covering up and wrecking the picture. Now, if we go to our layers panel, you'll see we have background and layer 1. Whenever you paste something, it automatically creates a new layer. Think of it as stacking a piece of paper or a piece of plastic with something painted on it on top of another one. You can see around here, we can put pixels here, but there's nothing there. There's only pixels right here, and it's on its own layer. See, there's a little eyeball. It's the visibility icon for the layer. If I click that, it's gone. But it's just showing it, not showing it. If I click on background, it lights up. And then if I do anything, if I paint or anything, it's going to affect that layer. Don't do this, but I'm going to show you. So if I paint, it's painting on the background layer. So when I go past the space thing, it goes underneath it. You don't see it because I'm working on the layer down here. So if I wanted to paint on this layer, I click on it so it's lit up, I paint again, and this time it goes right over the painting. So it really matters what you click on when you're working. Even for me, I've been working in Photoshop for years and years and years. It's easy to forget to select the right layer before you start to work. The layer menu, the layer panel is really, really fun. It's really powerful. First of all, I'm going to double click on layer 1 and call this Space Battle because it's better to name your layers. I'm always going to be wanting you to name your layers. Now, there's so many neat things I can do. I'll just show you a couple. I already showed you the visibility of how you actually select the layer to work on. And we'll get into modes later where it says normal. Opacity, again, has to do with transparency. I can click on this, and if I move it down, it makes it see-through. A little bit see-through or completely invisible. Pretty neat. But what we want to do, let me zoom out. We want this to look like it's out here. So the first thing we have to do is make it big enough. Like right now, I'm going to click up here on the move tool. It's also the letter V. If you hit the letter V, click on this up here. It's the top one. Now if I click on our Space Battle, whoops, could not use the move tool because no layers are selected. So that's exactly what I was talking about. I'm going to click on the Space Battle layer, and then I can click on this, and now I can move this around. So I'm going to move this up so it's covering the window up here. And I'm going to go, I need to make it so it's big. Luckily, there's a lot of ways to do that. I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. It's also Control-T. And now you see these little boxes around. If I grab a corner, I can stretch it out to the size I want. We'll learn other neat things about this tool. There's so much more we can do with it. Right now, we're just going to stretch it. Now it's stretching. I'm going to use my space bar and mouse to move it back. I'm going to zoom out a little. It's stretching bigger than the whole picture. That's all right. We're only going to use part of it. Once you get it, I can either double click on the image or I can hit enter. Now it's covering up most of the picture. That is okay. At least now we know when we cut out the windows, it's big enough to actually fill the windows. And we'll be able to move it to where we want. I think I'm going to want part of this ship here. There we go. I think I'm going to want it about there. Okay. Now we've been doing a few steps, and it seems every few steps you do, every step you do, you should go up to File and hit Save. And then just hit OK. Maybe even don't show again. That way, if the computer crashes, you don't lose all of your work. So always remember to save often. So now we have an image from Google. We stretched it out going from Edit, Free Transform. That is super important to know. We know how to zoom in and out. If you want to, you can use the zoom tool. You just click here and it does the same thing. And then you can go back to your tool. All right. This is where it's going to get even more interesting. So I'm going to go up to my layers panel, and at the very bottom, there's this rectangle with a dark circle in the middle. I'm going to click on that while my image for the window is selected. This layer. It's not going to be this layer. It's going to be like that. And I'm going to click on this, and it adds a white box. This is called a mask. So we're going to add a mask to it. So we have a a little preview of the image and this. Now we're going to use our channels. We're going to use our selection here. Select. Before we do that, I want you to click on this image and click on that image. You can see how you can select two different things now. I want you to select on this blank white area. And then I want you to go to Select, Load Selection. Now, if you, on your channel, you'll see something different this time. It'll be the mask we just made. Click on that and choose the window. Okay. Then hit OK. Now you're going to see our selection where the window is again. Now what I want you to do oops, I'll show you what to do. Oh, darn it, I accidentally deselected. Let me do this one more time. Select, load selection. It's good to repeat. Window. Okay, so now it has the window selected. What we want is all of this selected instead, everything but the windows. So there's two different ways to do that. I could either go up when I go to select and I load the selection. I can either hit invert and it selects everything but the windows, or since we already did that, we already loaded it without hitting invert, we can go to select again and inverse. So now it's selected everything except the windows. We have this, our image layer selected, and we have this white area selected. Now, we need to fill this area, this mask, everything that we don't want to show, we're going to mask it out with black on this white area. And the way to do that is to go down on your toolbar, and you'll see a white and a black. And if you don't, you hit this button right here, and it'll make it white and black. And then what I want you to do is hit this double-ended arrow. So now the black is the main front foreground color. Okay, then we're going to go up to Edit, and we're going to Fill. We're going to fill with the foreground color, right? Normal, leave all this the same, hit OK. So now you're going to see what happened. It looks a little crazy with all these black and white lines. It didn't delete everything around the image. It's just blocking it on the mask. That's the purpose of the mask, to show certain things. So now we can go to Select, Deselect. Now we have some sort of crazy space battle going on outside the window, inside that selection we made. And we're blocking parts of the image with the mask. The reason we are doing that, whoops, is if you now wanted to change the image, we didn't delete the rest of the image, we're just blocking it. If you wanted to move this around now, so you got a better view, what we would do is instead of clicking on the mask, we'll click on the image in this layer, go to Select All, go to the Move tool if you're not on it, and just click on your picture and slide it around a little bit. And you'll see where the edges are. Maybe you want, maybe that looks a little better. There we go. We can go to Select, Deselect. So now we have some sort of image inside of this area. It doesn't look done yet, but it should look a lot stranger, a lot more, a lot different than it did before. So that was using a Google image. The same idea as if you take your own picture. If I go to this and I go to select all, I can go to edit, copy, paste my image, and it automatically makes a new layer. So I am going to turn the visibility of our space battle off. And I'm going to do the same exact thing, but much quicker, because I already went through it slowly. Now I'm going to have you just watch it again. I'm going to call this giant. Click down here to make a mask. I have the giant layer selected. I have my mask selected. I'll go select, load my window selection. This time I'm going to invert it. Save a step. Now black is my foreground color. So I'm going to go to edit, fill with a color. I'll fill it with the foreground. Now I have my giant. But it's not set up very well. I want to be able to see my face a little bit. So I'm going to click, instead of on the mask, I'm going to click on the image. And I'm going to make sure I have everything selected. Select all. My move tool is already picked. And I'm going to click, and I'm going to slide it over so that I'm peeking in the window like that. Whoops, now I can see the right side. So I'm going to put it right about there. Maybe move it down a little. There we go. And go to select, deselect, and it's the same idea. So I can switch. I can turn this visibility off, turn this one on. If I turn both of them on, you're only going to see whatever layer is on top. So an interesting thing is I can click on this layer, hold down my mouse, and drag it above this one. So now it's on the top. I could turn the visibility off. So you'll be learning a lot about layers. You've learned a lot about making a simple mask, using some toolbar tools, opening and closing files. This is pretty intense stuff for the first day. But take it slow, make a bunch of mistakes. We can do it over and over again, and I can help you during office hours whenever you want. All right, so we're not done, but the biggest part of the assignment we just did. Now the rest is fine-tuning and a little bit of fun adjusting. This was the hardest part. All right, good job, everybody. Can't wait to see these. I'll get ready for the next video.